How the Deadman's plan to bring forth Gift is basically through cult shit. Like, Julio and Oteka and 3 others need to give up their Gifex energies to revive and bring forth their leader. Now, what I mean by that is, let's take a step back and first talk about the monsters. Obviously they're demons, but they all work in different phases. Phase 1 is where you just release your inner demon. Phase 2 is where you merge with that inner demon, and it takes having to beat them to return to normal. Phase 3, on the other hand, is where you fuse with that demon, and that's it. It's permanent. There's no going back. And so, but already, they have one guy that already we've seen from Jean's debut battle, and the other one is a corrupt lawyer that has a personal rivalry or vendetta against Iki, but the lawyer was arrested by Phoenix, and I guess because Vice Stamps they're kind of like Gaia memories, because technically the military is involved, and they know more about Vice Stamps and whatnot than regular police. So it makes a lot more sense here why Vice Stamp crimes are directly handled by Phoenix. So anyone who owns or used one is arrested and brought to the Phoenix Skybase for either serving out a sentence or rehabilitation. And so, Episode 13, the Deadmans launch an attack on the Skybase as it's brought down the refuel, to which we'll get back to this again later when I talk about the next episode, because there's a traitor amongst the ranks. But the highlight of the episode is Revi's upgrade form, Borrowed Rex Genome. George made this form as a just-in-case for Iki, but it turns out all it needed to be completed was Iki to fully trust Vice. I can agree with that. Vice has been a good boy up to now, for sure. I like Vice. He's like my favorite character, so... Anywho, Borrowed Rex. I like how George was still petty with Vice for not liking how he was turned into a skateboard in Jackal. And so he didn't make him anything for Borrowed Rex. But so instead, Vice just pulls out a stick of glue, takes all the eggshells from Revi's transformation, and makes a shield out of it. Where did the glue come from? I don't know, but I just like it so much. It's so silly, I love it. But for the suit itself, Borrowed Rex, thank God it's not pink. Finally, we're past that point where the forms aren't pink. Because this also looks cool. Very Sub-Zero-esque. And probably my favorite part about this suit, that shade of blue, it looks so sweet. And I also really like the helmet too. Like, to really coordinate the look of a T-Rex in the helmet, they really worked for it, and that's just nice. And in this form, like, Borrowed Rex is basically having ice powers, and also the ability to summon the remix forms without Revi and Vice needing to make them. They can even merge them too, so shoot, awesome. And so, Episode 14, George finds out who the traitor is, and it's Daiji and Hiromi's commander, Commander Wakabayashi.
It turns out, the Commander Wakabayashi who's been here was a sleeper agent for Deadmans. The real one was killed, and the Githx has been impersonating him. How George even came to the conclusion too was because the sleeper agent made a detour for the Borrowed Rex Vice Stamp, and only he and the commander know its name.
George is smart like that. He even deduced that Daiji wasn't himself way before anyone else.
Before he leaves, he demands for the gift stamp, which George gives to him, not knowing there's a tracker on it that'll lead to the next episode.
And so, the episode concludes with Gift's revival, Reddy, and Aguilera turning out to be the actual sacrifice. And so, episode 15, Phoenix invades the dead man's base, stopping the ceremony, and the results from the raid were 2 of the Gifts getting killed, and their life essence going into Gift to turn him into, well, their base. So Iki and Vice go back to save Aguilera and Julio, and Iki blows up the base. And so, in episode 16, Wakabayashi's impersonator is beaten, and Hiromi is appointed commander again.
Episode 17, an old friend of Julio's from when he was human comes to Happy Spa for their help to save him. Julio's actual name is Go Tamaki, and one day his friend Yusuke was ordered by bullies to rip up an important playing card to him, thus ending their friendship and causing him to join the Deadmans.
Now, since the raid, Iki's been left in shock about killing people, especially when the level of demons like Julio and Oteka are the ones that you instead kill, then separate from their demons. So George offers them a new Vice stamp to master through virtual training, in hoping to separate humans from their demons.
Yeah, that sadly won't work against the new kind of monsters, the Giftarians, where they consume their host first before coming alive.
So, let's talk about Revice and Vice's new forms. Revice gets the Volcano Rex form, while Vice wears Bard Rex now. Now, I'm not usually one to complain about how many episodes in a show a writer takes to get a new form, especially after getting a new form. But it's different here because they're not moving on from Bard Rex, they're adding on to it. Plus, they didn't get rid of it, it just goes to Vice instead, so it won't be forgotten. Now, to be honest, Vice looks nice in Bard Rex, like his first official different form change. But Volcano Rex, awesome, just straight up awesome. Purple and either yellow or gold, they just look awesome. And the flame up top, it actually kind of reminds me a bit of Agito. But this form in general, it looks so awesome. And just, wow. Like, Revice now gets firepower and Vice ice. Fire and ice. Anywho, but now, for an important point of this show, this show does not have a problem with inconsistent power levels. This is the form that Revice needs to beat the Giftarians from now on, and they keep up with that for the rest of the show. And so, episode 18, Julio and Yusuke make up, and Oteka kills him right in front of Julio by turning him into a Giftarian. Now, aside from Revice separating... Oh, no, I misread that. Aside from that, Revice separates Julio from his demon, turning him back to a normal person. So, now, let's get on to talking about Hiromi. As demons, he shows to have some limitations of what he can and can't do. Like, for example, he can only utilize one Vice stamp at a time and not both. And while having a medical checkup, Hiromi slowly realized that the demon's driver is slowly killing him because of a certain demon inside of it. And George and Phoenix director Akayashi are fully aware of that, saying how the demon's driver will be restored to its original state. And so, in episodes 19 and 20, These episodes have 2 Toku guest stars, the actor for Ultraman Victory and Pacharan Sango. And so, they both play old comrades of Hiromi's that trained together in Phoenix. Like Ultraman Victory, whose name this is Tatsuhiko. His part in this was to convince Hiromi to give up being demons for his own good. And Pacharan Sango, named Chikusa, is a double agent portraying Phoenix. And by the next episode, Chikusa is turned into a Giftarian. No surprise, because Olteka. And Hiromi defeats her. And during that, Iki, Vice, and Sakura and Aguilera 2 all come together to corner Olteka to steal back the gift stamp. And the end... words. And in the end, they end up capturing Olteka. But, I have to say, the best part about that battle is that the opening plays throughout the entire fight. And throughout the entire fight, Revice goes through all of their form changes up to now. And Live Devil is such a great song. It's straight up quality. It's so fucking awesome. I love it. Yes, I love it. It's that dope of a song. Just woo. Like what I said, it's a whoop song. And so, episode 21, Sakura is invited to join Weekend, a secret organization that opposes Phoenix, thinking they're up to no good. The ones who introduced her to Weekend are the Yoshijima family, who turn out to not be an actual family. They were just assigned to work together. They've had an interest in Sakura for quite some time because they're the ones who sent her the driver. Well, her driver, that is. And to fully be a part of Weekend, they request her to do one thing: receive the gift stamp, which she does and doesn't. Like, it turns out, the gift stamp they got off of Olteka last episode was a fake. The real one is still with Olteka in confinement. Now, as for Hiromi, he finally quits Phoenix, but before he leaves, he sees Akiashi conversing with Olteka, proving Weekend's suspicions to be right. The biggest shock of it all? The director was the one who recruited Olteka into the Deadmans. Better to explain this now than later, but director Akiashi isn't human. He was once, a very long time ago, because he's really around 1,000 years old. He was a king of a civilization, most definitely in Latin America, because Gift was discovered there. But he met Gift, and he appointed him to observe humanity's progression, and eventually decide whether or not humanity should be subjected to Gift or not. So all Phoenix really is a front for the Deadman's activities, and we'll talk about said advantages and activities later. I also haven't really talked about Olteka so much. His motivations really are he wants to take over the world through Gift's influence and probably rule it himself.
Olteka is freed from confinement with the real gift stamp and the demon's driver. A battle ensues and ends with Hiromi blasted to his doom, with the assumption that he died. For now though, at least, since they can't find a body to confirm it. Also, Genta has been getting some type of aches that Vice has been getting whenever he feels Gift's energy pulsing. I wonder why is that?